こんにちは。ロッチングストーリーのトゥーミーです。地震が来ました今撮り始まった瞬間に地震が来てますね。大丈夫でしょうか。はい、大丈夫でしょう。こういうアクシデントが起こってしまうのが私なんですけども、はい。今回ですね、お久しぶりなんですけども、元気でしたか今回トーチングストーリーでは、世界や日本で長く読み継がれている名作文学を通して英語学習と人間教育の両方を楽しめるコンテンツを作ってみました。昨今ですね、 YouTube、 AI に対していろいろとありますからね、本当に、素晴らしい作品、これこそアニメーションとかね、AI を使ってどんどん新しい世代にまた新しい形で伝えていくっていうのは本当に私たちの、やる意義だと思いますので、一つ教育的価値を見出すためにも一つチャレンジしたことです。で、物語はこれはですね、娯楽ではありません。時代を超える、残る作品に人がどう生きるかという問いが込められています。で、今回お届けするのは、幸福の王子、ゴンギツネ、走れメロスによだかの星です。それぞれね、国も時代も違いますが、共通して今回のテーマに、したことが他者を思いやる心です。で、まずは幸福の王子。これ私小さい時に読んでるのにタイトルを全然覚えていませんでしたで、幸福の王子、すっごいいい作品、これ覚えてます。全くタイトル思い出せなかったんで、この作品だったんだというね、作者はアイルランドの作家オスカー・ワイルドです。彼は当時華やかな社交界で大人気の作家さんでした。人生の後半に大きな挫折、困難をして、社会から孤立していますね。その興味深いことにこの物語、与えることの美しさを描いて、自分が苦しみを知ったからこそ他人への痛みとか寄り添う気持ち、そういったものを描いたと言われています。そして、次に日本文学からゴンギツネ。ゴンギツネは皆さん教科書に書いてませんでしたかね。私も彼岸花をね、すごい一生懸命書いた紙芝居を、作ったのを覚えてます、ね。大事に抱えて帰った紙芝居がですね、漫画のように宙にこう風に舞ってしまって、自分の書いたゴンギツネの可愛いキツネとですね、彼岸花が車にはねられていくっていう光景、未だに思い出すんですけど、苦い思い出です。またこの時期にそのゴンギツネをね、拾いに行けなかったんですよね。その紙芝居を車にひかれちゃってるので泣きながら帰ったの覚えてます。それをまたこの機会に作品として作ることができたっていうのがものすごく嬉しかったですね。ゴンギツネ、皆さんも知ってますよね。新見南吉さんです。そう、作者はね、新見南吉さん、わずか29歳という若さで亡くなっています。すいません、ちょっと地震がまた来たのでちょっと一回止めてみました。すいませんということで、ゴンギツネ、新見南吉さんからですね、新見南吉さん、わずか29歳という、若さで亡くなっているという。で、彼は幼い頃にですね、お母様を亡くされて、孤独やすれ違いというテーマを作品に多く残されていますね。ゴンの気持ちはあったのに伝わらなかったというね、コミュニケーションの大切さを私たちに教えてくれる作品です。で、続いて走れメロス。作者は皆様めちゃめちゃ知っていますね。太宰治さんですね。破天荒な生き方で知られる作家さんですけれども、実は人間の弱さとか信頼を誰よりも真剣に考え続けた人物ですね。メロスは、走れメロス。メロスは完璧な人間でもね、英雄でもありません。迷いとかね、恐れ、そういったものをそれでも怖くても約束を守ろうと走り続けます。だからこそこの物語がですね、今もなお受け継がれている作品ですね。そしてよだかの星、宮沢賢治さんのね、作品です。教師として働きながら物語を書き続けていた宮沢賢治さんですけれども、生前というのはね、ほとんど評価されていません。しかし彼は本当の幸せとは何かとか、弱い存在に価値があるのかという問いをですね、ずっと描き作品に残していた作家さんですね。よだかの姿には他者と違う、他の人と違う、そういった 違いをですねに苦しむ人間に対してですね優しさを描いている、もう夜中の星はとっても切ないですね。この作品ご自身にも当てられるとね、ちょっと自分の弱いところ重なる部分あると思いますね。すごく切ないお話です。夜中の星はですね、AI で作成するときに非常に注意しながらやっていたんですけども、どうしても感情の高鳴りが大きくて、鳥なのに人間になってしまったり、人間なのに鳥になってしまったりみたいなね、そういうところのシーンも出てきて、ちょっと矛盾が生じるシーンもありますけれども、そこは優しく見守っていただければと思います。物語をね楽しみながら英語に触れることで、言葉だけでなくて文化や価値観なんかも自然に学べるように構成しています。文学が国語という、国語でもね、英語でもないです。文学は人を理解するための共通の言語です。ぜひ物語を通して、言葉、文化、そして、人の心感情なんかに触れて感じてみてください。タイムラインにですね、概要欄の方にタイムラインを載せようと思いますので、お好きなところから、そして最後まで見ていただいたら嬉しいです。それでは物語へいってらっしゃい。
High above the city, on a tall column, stood the statue of the Happy Prince. He was beautiful beyond compare. He was gilded all over with thin leaves of fine gold, which shone brilliantly in the sunset. For eyes, he had 2 bright sapphires, deep and clear, and a large red ruby glowed on his sword hilt, sparkling vividly even from a distance. The townspeople admired him greatly. "He is as beautiful as a weathercock," one remarked. A mother said to her crying child, "Look at the Happy Prince. He never cries, not even in his dreams." The prince stood there as the pride of the town, a symbol of eternal happiness. One night, a little swallow flew over the city. His friends had gone away to Egypt 6 weeks before to escape the winter, but he had stayed behind. He had fallen in love with a beautiful reed and remained by the river. But winter was fast approaching. Cold winds began to blow, and the swallow decided to hurry after his friends. "I will go to Egypt," he thought, "to the warm lands of the pyramids." All day long he flew, and at nightfall he arrived at the city. "Where shall I stay tonight?" he wondered, looking around the town. Then he saw the magnificent statue standing on the tall column. "I will stay there," he said. "It is a fine position with plenty of fresh air." So he alighted just between the feet of the Happy Prince to rest his wings. "I have a golden bedroom," he murmured cheerfully as he looked around. But just as he was putting his head under his wing to sleep, something happened. Drop! A large drop of water fell on him. "What a curious thing," cried the swallow, looking up at the sky. "There is not a single cloud, and the stars are shining quite brightly. How can it be raining?" Then another drop fell. "Drop! What is the use of a statue if it cannot keep the rain off?" he said. "I must look for a chimney pot." As he spread his wings to fly away, he happened to look up at the statue's face. He stopped, frozen in amazement. The face of the Happy Prince, illuminated by the moonlight, was so beautiful yet filled with such sorrow. Tears were streaming down his golden cheeks. The little swallow was filled with pity at the sight. He asked gently, "Who are you?" The statue answered quietly, "I am the Happy Prince." "Why are you weeping then?" asked the swallow. "You have quite drenched me with your tears." The prince began to speak slowly. "When I was alive and had a human heart, I did not know what tears were. I lived in the palace of Sans Souci, where sorrow was not allowed to enter." The prince's voice sounded like low music. "In the daytime I played in the garden, and in the evening I danced in the great hall. There was a high wall around the garden, and I never cared to ask what lay beyond it. Everything was so beautiful. Everything was so complete. My courtiers called me the Happy Prince, and happy indeed I was, if pleasure be happiness. So I lived, and so I ended my days." After a pause, the prince continued, "And now that I have ended my days and become a statue, they have set me up here so high that I can see all the ugliness and all the misery of my city. Though my heart is made of lead, I cannot choose but weep at this sight." The swallow listened silently. "What, is he not solid gold?" he thought to himself. But of course he was too polite to say it aloud. The prince gazed fixedly at a distant point and said, "Far away in a narrow street I see a poor house. A window is open, and I can see a tired-looking woman seated at a table. The prince gazed fixedly at the poor house and continued speaking quietly. Her face is thin and worn, and she has coarse red hands, all pricked by the needle, for she is embroidering passion flowers on a satin gown for the loveliest of the queen's maids of honor. In a bed in the corner of the room, her little boy is lying ill. The prince's voice trembled slightly. He has a fever and is asking for oranges. His mother has nothing to give him but river water, so he is crying. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you not bring her the ruby out of my sword hilt? My feet are fastened to this pedestal and I cannot move." The swallow answered in distress. "I am waited for in Egypt. My friends are flying up and down the Nile and talking to the large lotus flowers. Soon they will go to sleep in the tomb of the great king." "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince gently. "Will you not stay with me for one night and be my messenger?" The boy is so thirsty and the mother so sad. The swallow wanted to say that he did not like boys, but the happy prince looked so sad that he could not refuse. "It is very cold here," he said, "but I will stay with you for one night and be your messenger." "Thank you, little swallow," said the prince. So the swallow picked out the great ruby from the prince's sword and flew away with it in his beak over the roofs of the town. He passed by the cathedral tower, he passed over the palace, and at last he came to the poor house and looked in. The boy was tossing feverishly on his bed, and the mother had fallen asleep. She was so tired. In he hopped and laid the great ruby on the table beside the woman's thimble. Then he flew gently round the bed, fanning the boy's forehead with his wings. "How cool I feel," said the boy. "I must be getting better." And he sank into a delicious slumber. Then the swallow flew back to the happy prince and told him what he had done. "It is curious," he remarked, "but I feel quite warm now, although it is so cold." "That is because you have done a good action," said the prince, and the little swallow began to think. And then he fell asleep. When day broke, the swallow prepared to leave. "Tonight I go to Egypt," he said in high spirits. But the prince asked him again, "Swallow, swallow, little swallow, will you not stay with me one night longer?" "I am waited for in Egypt," answered the swallow. "Tomorrow my friends will fly up to the second cataract." The prince answered, "Far away across the city I see a young man in a garret. He is leaning over a desk covered with papers, and in a tumbler by his side there is a bunch of withered violets. He is trying to finish a play for the director of the theater, but he is too cold to write anymore. There is no fire in the grate, and hunger has made him faint. I will wait with you one night longer," said the swallow, who really had a good heart. "Shall I take him another ruby?" "Alas, I have no ruby now," said the prince. "My eyes are all that I have left. They are made of rare sapphires, which were brought out of India 1,000 years ago. Pluck out one of them and take it to him. He will sell it to the jeweler and buy food and firewood and finish his play." "Dear prince," said the swallow, "I cannot do that." And he began to weep. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince gently, "do as I command you." So the swallow plucked out the prince's eye and flew away to the student's garret. It was easy enough to get in, as there was a hole in the roof. Through this he darted and came into the room. The young man had his head buried in his hands, so he did not hear the flutter of the bird's wings, and when he looked up, he found the beautiful sapphire lying on the withered violets. "I am beginning to be appreciated," he cried. "This is from some great admirer. Now I can finish my play." And he looked quite happy. The next night, the swallow came back to the prince. "I have come to bid you goodbye," he cried. "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince. "Will you not stay with me one night longer?" "It is winter," answered the swallow, "and the chill snow will soon be here. In Egypt, the sun is warm on the green palm trees." But the prince said quietly, "In the square below there stands a little match girl. She has let her matches fall in the gutter, and they are all spoiled. Her father will be angry if she does not bring home some money, and she is crying. She has no shoes or stockings, and her little head is bare." The prince continued, "Pluck out my other eye and give it to her, and her father will not hurt her." "I will stay with you one night longer," said the swallow, "but I cannot pluck out your eye. You would be quite blind then." "Swallow, swallow, little swallow," said the prince, "do as I command you." So he plucked out the prince's other eye and darted down with it. He slipped the jewel into the palm of the little girl's hand. "What a lovely bit of glass!" cried the little girl, and she ran home, laughing. Then the swallow came back to the prince. "You are blind now," he said, "so I will stay with you always." "No, little swallow," said the poor prince. "You must go away to Egypt." "I will stay with you always," said the swallow. And he slept at the prince's feet. All the next day he sat on the prince's shoulder and told him stories of what he had seen in strange lands. But the prince said, "Dear little swallow, you tell me of marvelous things. But more marvelous than anything is the suffering of men and of women. There is no mystery so great as misery. Fly over my city, little swallow, and tell me what you see there." So the swallow flew over the great city and saw the rich making merry in their beautiful houses, while the beggars were sitting at the gates. He saw two starving little boys lying in each other's arms to keep themselves warm under the archway of a bridge. He flew back and told the prince what he had seen. "I am covered with fine gold," said the prince. "You must take it off leaf by leaf and give it to my poor. The living always think that gold can make them happy." Leaf after leaf of the fine gold the swallow picked off, till the happy prince looked quite dull and gray. Leaf after leaf of the fine gold he brought to the poor, and the children's faces grew rosier, and they laughed and played games in the street. "We have bread now," they cried. Then the snow came, and after the snow came the frost. The streets looked as if they were made of silver. They were so bright and glistening, long icicles like crystal daggers hung down from the eaves of the houses. Everybody went about in furs, but the little swallow grew colder and colder. The poor little swallow grew colder and colder, but he would not leave the prince. He loved him too well. He picked up crumbs outside the baker's door and tried to keep himself warm by flapping his wings. But at last he knew that he was going to sleep forever. He had just strength to fly up to the prince's shoulder once more. "Goodbye, dear prince," he murmured. "Will you let me kiss your hand? I am glad that you are going to Egypt at last." "Little swallow," said the prince, "you have stayed too long here, but you must kiss me on the lips, for I love you." "It is not to Egypt that I am going," said the swallow. "I'm going to the house of eternal sleep." "It is a long, peaceful sleep, is it not?" And he kissed the happy prince on the lips and fell down dead at his feet. At that moment, a curious crack sounded inside the statue, as if something had broken. The leaden heart had snapped right in two. Early the next morning, the mayor was walking in the square below. He looked up at the statue and cried, "Dear me, how shabby the happy prince looks!" The town councilors gathered around and said, "It is true. The ruby has fallen out of his sword, his eyes are gone, and he is golden no longer. In fact, he is little better than a beggar. And here is actually a little bird lying at his feet," continued the mayor. "We must really issue a proclamation that birds are not to be allowed to die here." So they pulled down the statue of the happy prince. "As he is no longer beautiful, he is no longer useful," said the art professor at the university. Then they melted the statue in a furnace. But the overseer of the workmen noticed a curious thing. "This broken lead heart will not melt in the furnace," he said. "We must throw it away." So they threw it on a quiet heap where the little swallow was also lying still. At that time, God looked down upon the city. He called to one of his angels and said, "Bring me the two most precious things in the city." The angel spread his great wings and flew over the city. He passed by the jewelers, the palaces, and the busy markets. Finally, the angel descended to a quiet corner. He did not choose gold or jewels. The angel brought him the leaden heart and the little bird. "You have rightly chosen," said God with a gentle smile. "For in my garden of paradise, this little bird shall sing forevermore, and in my city of gold, the happy prince shall praise me." And so, the two were reunited in the light, never to be parted again. This is a story that has been passed down through generations in a village from long ago. Near a small castle called Nakayama, there was a lush, dense forest. In that forest lived a lone little fox named Gon. To soothe the loneliness of having no one to play with, Gon would venture out to the village every day, repeating his small, mischievous pranks. It happened one day after the rain had cleared. The sky was a piercing blue, and the songs of the shrikes echoed through the air. Gon made his way to the riverbank. There, a young man from the village named Hyuju was wading in the river, casting his fishing net into the sparkling water. A single bush clover leaf was stuck to Hyuju's face, looking just like a comical mole. Seeing this, Gon felt his usual mischievous spirit rising up within him. "Hup! I'll give Hyuju a little surprise." As soon as Hyuju stepped away from his net for a moment, Gon leaped out from the bushes. Inside the basket, many lively fish were splashing and jumping. One by one, Gon tossed them back into the river. Finally, only one remained, a remarkably thick and magnificent eel. If I take this with me, Hyuju will be even more surprised. Gon snatched the eel in his mouth. However, the eel was slippery and slimy, winding itself tightly around Gon's neck. Just then, Hyuju's voice thundered, "Hey, you thief of a fox!" Startled, Gon jumped high and scrambled back toward the forest as fast as his legs could carry him, with the eel still wrapped around his neck. Back at his burrow, Gon took a deep breath of relief. That was fun. I wonder if Hyuju is troubled right about now. However, at that moment, Gon had no way of knowing how much his little prank had taken away something truly precious from Hyuju. Gon hid behind the 6 stone statues in the graveyard and watched quietly. The autumn day was peaceful, and the castle roof sparkled in the distance. At his feet, bright red cluster amaryllis flowers were in full bloom, looking just like a crimson carpet. Soon, a funeral procession dressed in white arrived. At the front of the line was Hyuju, holding a memorial tablet with great care. His face, which used to be so full of life, was now pale and sunken in deep sorrow. I see. It was Hyuju's mother who passed away. Thinking back to his prank, Gon felt a sharp pain in his chest. Maybe his mother said she wanted to eat an eel one last time. Hyuju was at the river that day because he wanted to grant her wish. And yet because I played such a mean trick. Curled up inside his cold burrow, Gon kept thinking. Now Hyuju is all alone, just like me. I wish I hadn't done that. No matter how much I apologize, his mother will never come back. For the first time, a warm yet heart-wrenching feeling of caring for someone began to grow in Gon's heart. Hyuju, I am so sorry. I got in the way of your kindness. Is there really nothing left that I can do? With tears in his eyes, Gon began to look for a way to make amends. A lonely little fox and a lonely young man were about to be connected by an invisible bond. From the very next day, Gon began visiting Hyuju's house every single day. Sometimes he would bring shiny chestnuts he had gathered in the mountains, at other times, fragrant matsutake mushrooms. Gon carefully left these gifts by the back door, always making sure to hide his own presence. Eat well with these, Hyuju, Gon thought. He imagined Hyuju discovering the gifts and being surprised, and a small sense of pride swelled within him. However, one night, Gon accidentally overheard a conversation between Hyuju and his friend Kosuke. "Hey, Kosuke, something strange has been happening," Hyuju said, his voice filled with wonder. "Every single day, someone leaves chestnuts and matsutake mushrooms for me. I wonder who it could possibly be." Kosuke replied, "That must be the work of the gods, Hyuju. The gods must feel pity for you, being all alone and sad, and they are helping you. You should thank the gods every day." Hearing this, Gon felt a pang of disappointment. "I went all over the mountains, getting pricked by thorns just to gather these. I'm the one delivering them. But Hyuju is thanking the gods, not me. This just doesn't feel right somehow." Gon felt a little lonely, but then he reconsidered and decided it was okay. "I'm a bad fox who played a mean trick. I don't deserve to reveal my name. If Hyuju can just get his spirits back, then that's all that matters." Gon's gifts were an invisible kindness, known to no one. It was like the quiet autumn night breeze, or the gentle moonlight, a form of atonement. Tomorrow I'll bring him the biggest chestnut yet. With a hopeful thought for tomorrow, Gon quietly returned to the peaceful forest. The following day, Gon headed to Hyuju's house once more, cradling large chestnuts in his arms. Hyuju was working in the barn, but when he happened to look up, he spotted the shadow of a fox slipping into his house. "That's him, the thief fox from that day. He's come to play another trick on me." With a heart heavy with a mixture of sorrow and anger, Hyuju reached for the old matchlock gun hanging on the wall. Creeping silently, he pulled the trigger just as Gon was about to step outside. Bang! With a thunderous sound, Gon collapsed on the spot. As Hyuju rushed over, he saw the chestnuts Gon had brought rolling across the earthen floor. Hyuju was speechless. The chestnuts and matsutake mushrooms delivered day after day. They weren't the work of the gods. It was this tiny fox, the one he thought had only meant to hurt him, who had been bringing them all along. "Gon, it was you. You were the one who always gave me the chestnuts." Hyuju's voice trembled. Gon, his eyes closed and his strength fading, gave a faint but satisfied nod. His expression was filled with peace, as if he felt his true feelings had finally reached Hyuju. Hyuju threw aside his gun and gently gathered Gon into his arms. From the barrel of the gun, a thin trail of blue smoke rose steadily toward the heavens. "I'm so sorry, Gon. I didn't notice anything. I never knew how truly kind you were." The setting sun wrapped the two in a golden light. Along with Hyuju's warm tears, Gon's soul began its journey high into the sky. Though a life was lost, there was a true reconciliation. Two lonely souls had finally found each other at the very end. From then on, the villagers would sometimes find mysterious nuts left by the back door of Hyuju's house. Perhaps it was proof that an invisible, deep love still lives on in that place today. The city of Syracuse was more beautiful than ever, yet more silent than anyone had ever known. The cobblestone streets, bathed in the setting sun, glowed a brilliant gold, but the footsteps of those walking upon them were heavy and hurried. Though shop fronts were lined with colorful fruits and ornate silk cloths fit for a wedding, there were no smiles on the faces of those who touched them. Carrying a large shopping bag on his back, Melos felt a stir of unease in his heart. Melos was a simple shepherd from a small village, knowing nothing of politics. Every day he had lived under the blue sky, playing his flute and running through the meadows with his sheep. To him, the world was a place built upon mutual trust. Yet what drifted through this city was the cold shadow of suspicion. People huddled together in back alleys, and houses kept their windows firmly shut. Melos spoke softly to an old man passing by. "Old man, why is this city so deathly quiet? 2 years ago, it was surely filled with much brighter songs." The old man looked around in startled surprise and pressed a withered finger to his lips. "Shh! You must not speak so loudly. Our current king has lost the ability to trust others. If he suspects even a shadow of doubt in one's heart, their life may be forfeit by morning. The entire city is as if bound by invisible chains." Hearing these words, Melos felt a surge of heat rush through his entire body. It was a fierce indignation. To be unable to trust others, as a king and as a human being, could there be anything more sorrowful or shameful? In Melos's heart, a passion to sweep away the darkness shrouding this city burned more brightly than even the beautiful wedding dress he had bought for his sister. Without hesitation, he headed toward the royal castle where a massive stone gate loomed high. Captured by the guards and dragged into a grand hall filled with cold, stagnant air, Melos was brought before King Dionysius, whose eyes seemed sunken in the depths of solitude. "O king, why do you doubt the people and extinguish the light of this city?" Melos's cry echoed against the high ceiling. The king replied with a freezing sneer, "In the end, humans betray others for their own gain. That is the truth. Even you, if pushed into a corner, would discard that pure heart of yours. No, there is faith in humanity. I shall prove it to you." Melos did not back down an inch. He requested a period of 3 days to witness his sister's happy wedding. He vowed to return, even at the cost of his own life. The king, as if mocking that bond, demanded a hostage. There appeared Selinuntius, a stonemason in Syracuse and Melos's dearest friend. There was no need for words between the two. Just by looking into each other's eyes, they knew their souls were one. Selinuntius nodded silently and offered his own hands to the chains. Their embrace in that moment warmed the frozen air of the castle for a brief second, like the coming of spring. As the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Melos, carrying the weight of the friend who believed in him, became the night wind and ran toward his home village. Melos ran without a single moment of sleep, driven by an invisible force. He covered the distance of 10 RI, about 40 kilometers, at a speed that surpassed human limits. Gradually, the stone-cold scenery of the city vanished, replaced by the gentle feel of soil and grass beneath his feet. It was the following morning when he finally reached his village. From beyond the misty forest, the familiar rooftops of his home appeared. The morning light painted the meadows in shades of gold, and the peaceful bleating of sheep echoed through the air. His 16-year-old sister stood frozen in front of the house. Before her stood her brother, clothed in tattered rags, covered in mud, and utterly exhausted. "Brother, what happened? You look as though you've just fought through a great storm." Melos caught his breath and forced a gentle smile. It was a smile filled with deep affection, though tinged with a hidden sorrow. "It's nothing. Some urgent business came up in the city and I must head back soon. So let's hold your wedding today, here before the gods of our village." Though surprised, his sister saw the unwavering resolve in his eyes and nodded silently. Melos went around the village, decorating the altar and arranging the finest preparations. Once everything was set, he fell into a sleep so deep it felt as if he were being pulled into the earth. It was a miraculous moment of rest, caught between the hardships he had endured and the fate that lay ahead. That night, upon waking, Melos immediately visited the groom's house. The young man was taken aback by the sudden request. "Nothing is ready yet," he said. "I wanted to wait until the grape harvest." But Melos's desperate intensity was overwhelming. His passion, the realization that every second mattered for the friend who trusted him, moved the young man's heart. "I understand," he replied. "We shall have a grand celebration tomorrow." The following day at noon, the wedding began under a beautiful, clear sky. But at the very moment the bride and groom made their eternal vows, something strange happened. The sun was swallowed by black clouds, and a torrential rain began to lash against the windows. It was a heavy downpour, as if foretelling the relentless trials awaiting Melos. Yet inside the small house, a warmth resided that made one forget the storm outside. The villagers sang, clapped, and danced joyfully. For a brief moment, Melos stood within their circle and tried to forget the king's promise and his own destiny. He watched his sister's smiling face and the faces of the villagers who looked up to him. I want to stay here forever. I want to grow old with everyone in this peaceful, everyday life." A fierce conflict began within Melos's heart. If he left this warm place now, only a cold fate awaited him. But if he stayed, he would abandon his dear friend, the one who had trusted him with his life, to an eternal darkness. Melos told himself, "My body is no longer mine alone. Selenuntius's life is carried on my back. If I stop running, the very heart of trust will vanish from this world." He walked up to the young man who had just become his sister's husband and gripped his shoulders firmly. "I must go to the city now to fulfill a vital promise. Take care of my sister. Listen, the saddest thing for a human being is to doubt others and to lie to oneself. Carry that truth as your life's greatest treasure." His sister nodded as if in a dream, accepting her brother's deep love. Melos tucked the memory of these happy moments away in his heart and plunged out into the pouring rain. There was still time. He should be able to make it before sunset. Along the muddy road, through the freezing rain, a fierce and unquenchable flame burned in Melos's heart, a flame of love for his sister and loyalty to his friend. Supported only by the power of his self-belief, he began to run once more toward the place of his promise. "Watch me, O king! I shall prove the truth of humanity right now!" The rain finally ceased, and a piercing sun broke through the clouds. Melos, carrying the warm memories of his village in his heart, was making steady progress. However, as he reached the halfway point of his journey, the very crossroads of fate, an unimaginable sight stretched out before him. The torrential rain from the previous day had caused the mountain springs to overflow, transforming what was once a gentle river into a raging torrent, like a thrashing giant serpent. The swirling waters had smashed the only bridge into tiny fragments, and with a haunting roar, the river threatened to swallow everything in its path. Not a single ferry remained. "No! Oh God, please calm this flow. If I do not cross now, a bond more precious than life itself will be lost forever." Melos crouched by the riverbank and cried out to the heavens, but the murky water only grew more violent, as if laughing at his lament. The sun tilted mercilessly toward the west, and with every passing second, his promised time was slipping away. "I must do it!" Steeling his resolve, Melos dived into the howling currents. Tossed by waves, dodging driftwood, and nearly crashing into jagged rocks, he moved his arms with desperate strength. The water was ice cold, draining the very warmth from his body. Yet in his heart, a single light remained, the name of his friend. Selenuntius! Every time he called out that name, a flickering power returned to his fingertips. It was a direct clash between the raw force of nature and the human will. Finally, through a miracle of spirit, he managed to cling to a tree trunk on the opposite shore. But his trials were not over. Drenched and shivering, Melos attempted to cross a steep mountain pass, only to find a dark band of shadows blocking his path. "Leave everything behind," they demanded. "You shall not pass." Though his voice trembled, Melos stared them down with a sharp, piercing gaze. I have nothing but a promise to keep. For that promise, I must carry my entire being to the city. Let me pass! The shadows raised their clubs. Melos fought a desperate battle for the sake of justice, seeking only to carve a path forward. His goal was not to harm, but to prove the strength of a trusting heart. He broke through their line, but by then his body had reached its absolute limit. The relentless midsummer sun drained the last of his strength. His throat was parched and his legs felt as heavy as lead, refusing to move another inch. Just one more step. Melos finally collapsed onto the grass by the roadside. Reflected in his fading vision was a beautiful yet cruel sight, a sunset burning a deep blood red. In that moment, from the darkest corner of his heart, a shadow began to whisper. You've worked hard enough. You swam across the river and escaped the bandits. This is now beyond human power. Did the king not tell you, just come a little late? If you do, you alone will be saved. It is sad to lose a friend, but that was an unavoidable fate. If you return to the village, that warm life is waiting for you again. Justice and pride, they cannot quench this thirst, can they? Melos had no strength left to resist that quiet whisper. That's right, I have lost. To the fury of nature and to the flow of time. Perhaps I have no choice but to live out my days in silence as a traitor. He began to doze off in the fading light of dusk. The face of Selenantius, who believed in him so dearly, began to blur like a distant memory. Just as he was about to surrender his pride, his friendship, and his soul to the eternal darkness, from somewhere he heard a faint yet certain sound of water. Trickle, trickle, miraculously, Melos lifted his head. There, from a crack in the rocks, clear spring water was gushing out like liquid crystal. He crawled toward the spring and pressed his parched lips to the water. The cold, sweet water flowed down his throat and surged through his entire body. In that instant, the fog of despair covering his mind vanished. What am I doing, Melos? It is my flesh that is tired, not my heart. I have a friend who believes in me and has entrusted me with his life. To answer that trust, is that not the final and greatest pride of being human? Melos stood up once again with renewed strength. Gazing at the sinking sun, he became a gust of wind, racing toward the city of his promise. In his wake, not a single shadow of doubt remained. Melos continued to run at a speed that surpassed all human limits. His entire body was numb, and with every step he felt as if the very earth beneath him were shaking. Though his breath burned his throat like fire, his eyes remained fixed on a single point, the towers of Syracuse, glowing crimson in the setting sun. Oh, sun, do not set. Even if it means defying the laws of the universe, wait for just one more second, just a little longer. It was as if Melos's heart beat in perfect unison with the friend who sat waiting and believing in him. Pushing through the startled crowds, he streaked through the streets like a bolt of lightning. Along the way, he encountered Selenantius's young apprentice, who was running toward him with a look of pure desperation. It's no use, Master Melos. Please, stop running. The promised hour has come. Even if you go now, you won't make it. Melos did not stop. Without even turning his gaze, he cried out with iron resolve. No, the sun has not set yet. Whether I make it in time is not the point. I am running for something far more precious, something invisible to the eye, for the trust of a friend and for my own truth. To protect them to the very end, that is why I run. His mind was a complete blank, cleansed of all thought, enveloped in a pure white light. Only the sacred mission engraved upon his soul to keep his promise drove him forward. In the central square of the city, a heavy silence hung in the air. There stood Selenantius, calmly preparing to accept his fate. At that very moment, just as the last fragment of the sun was about to vanish beyond the horizon, a man burst into the square like a gale, as if outrunning the light itself. Wait, do not harm that man. Melos has returned. Just as promised, I have come back. Melos screamed with every ounce of his remaining strength, his voice hoarse and raw. The moment he reached Selenantius, he collapsed, as if the strings holding him up had been cut. From the crowds filling the square, a roar of cheers erupted, a sound like the rumbling of the earth, reaching up to the heavens. Selenantius, Melos said, hot tears welling in his eyes, his voice trembling. Please, correct me. Strike me for my failing. Along the way, I had a dark dream just once. I doubted our bond and almost gave up. If you do not forgive that weakness in my heart, I am not worthy to embrace you as a true friend. Selenantius nodded deeply and gently, as if understanding everything. He struck Melos firmly on the shoulder to set things right, then smiled warmly and spoke. Melos, now you must correct me. During these 3 days, just once my heart wavered, and I doubted if you would return. If you do not set that doubt right, I cannot truly be one with you. Melos, too, struck his friend on the shoulder. They acknowledged the flickering of their hearts. And then, in a moment of complete forgiveness, they embraced each other tightly, weeping aloud. Their souls, having endured the 3-day trial, finally melted into one. King Dionysius, who had been watching this sacred scene from behind the crowd, felt the cold mask he had worn for so long fall away. His face was flushed, and for the first time his eyes held tears of true empathy. He approached the two slowly and spoke in a trembling voice. You have won. Faith was not an empty delusion after all. The bond you have proven has, in an instant, swept away the darkness of solitude that ruled me. Please let me join your circle. Teach me the true strength of believing in people. At the king's heartfelt proclamation, the square was filled with thunderous shouts of "Hooray!" A young girl stepped forward and offered a brilliant red cloak to Melos, who was tattered and exhausted. Melos realized how bashful he felt standing before the people in such a state, and he blushed with a shy smile. The crowd responded with even warmer applause. It was the moment true peace arrived in the city of Syracuse. The wall of suspicion that had frozen the city was beautifully melted by the passion of two friends who believed in each other. The story of Melos and Selenontius was told for generations to come, forever lighting the flame of hope called the courage to trust in the hearts of all. As the birch forest was wrapped in the golden hues of the sunset, and the wind gently rustled the leaves, a bird named Yodaka sat alone on a high branch, quietly waiting for the night to arrive. Yodaka looked a little different from the other birds. His feathers had a unique and powerful pattern, as if they had captured the darkness of the night itself. His large mouth was not meant for attacking anyone. It was designed to catch the night wind and gather tiny insects as his life's energy. His wide wings were a special gift from nature, allowing him to soar through the sky faster and higher than anyone else. However, because of his unusual appearance, the other forest companions sometimes looked at him with cold eyes, whispering, "How strange he looks," or "He only moves at night, what a mysterious fellow." Yodaka had very beautiful brothers. There was the kingfisher, who sparkled like a blue jewel by the water, and the hummingbird, who radiated rainbow light while sipping flower nectar. They were praised and loved by everyone in the bright sunlight. Yodaka was truly proud of his brother's beauty, and he always watched over them from a distant branch with a warm gaze, thinking, "How beautiful they are." Yet, in his own heart, there was a loneliness that wouldn't go away, like the evening mist. Why is it, he always asked himself, that the burning passion in my heart is invisible to everyone? Inside this body, my life is burning so brightly and earnestly. When he met a lark in the evening sky, the lark would pretend to be busy and look away. The chatty little birds would see Yodaka's large mouth and become frightened or spread strange rumors about him. But Yodaka never held a grudge against them. In fact, he had a very kind heart. One day after the rain, he saw a tiny white eye shivering and about to fall from its nest. He quietly helped the little bird back to safety when no one was looking. He didn't mind if no one knew about the good things he did. Being able to help someone was the only thing that gave lonely Yodaka a sense of pride. One evening, a large and powerful hawk, the strongest ruler of the forest, flew down to where Yodaka was resting. The hawk's feathers shone as sharp as steel, and his terrifying presence made all the forest creatures tremble with fear. However, this hawk had always been unhappy that a bird like Yodaka shared a name so similar to his own. "Hey, Yodaka! Are you still using that disrespectful name?" The hawk's voice echoed coldly through the forest. "Don't you think it's rude to stain the name of a magnificent hawk like me? By tomorrow, change your name to something humble and go apologize to every house in the forest. If you don't, I will tear you apart with these sharp claws. There is no place for you in this beautiful forest." The hawk's words blew into Yodaka's heart like an icy wind. If he gave in to fear and changed his name, he might save his life. But that would be a betrayal of the nature that gave him life, and it would be the same as throwing away his own soul. Yodaka quietly calmed his trembling wings, looked straight into the hawk's eyes, and answered, "Mr. Hawk, I did not choose this name myself. It is a unique treasure given to me by great nature since the moment I was born. Therefore, I cannot let go of it. Even if I were to change my name, the truth of who I am would never change. The hawk was startled to see the strong, unbreakable light dwelling deep within Yodaka's eyes. For a moment, the hawk was lost for words. He then flew away with a loud flapping of his wings, but there was no more hesitation in Yodaka's heart. I am not flying to be recognized by someone else. I am living to reach that star-like brilliance inside of me. Yodaka took a deep breath and took off into the sky as the curtain of night began to fall. There was no longer a shadow of loneliness on his back. Instead, there was a transparent and powerful determination to prove his true value to the heavens. He said goodbye in his heart to his beloved brothers and the birch trees filled with memories. Goodbye. I am going to a higher place, a place of pure light. There, in my own way, I want to become a light that shines upon this world. Yodaka spread his wings wide and soared vertically into the sky. The cold wind beat against his feathers, but his body burned with a mysterious heat. Higher and higher. He flapped his wings desperately until the voices of the earth could no longer be heard, and even the air seemed to disappear. At that moment, Yodaka's feathers began to sparkle as if they were sprinkled with stardust. He broke through the limits of his own body and continued to move forward, aiming for the entrance of the pale, glowing galaxy. Eventually, Yodaka disappeared from sight. However, that night, the very first and most beautiful thing to shine in the evening darkness was a new star, more proud than any jewel. Whenever the villagers and the forest companions look up at that star, they are reminded of something important. It doesn't matter what you look like. What matters is where your soul is headed. That is what determines your true name. Even now, Yodaka continues to shine upon the world gently and quietly from the purest place in the night sky. Yodaka cut through the cold, crystal-clear night air, soaring higher and higher far beyond the clouds. The birch forest on the ground below had already shrunk into a tiny black shadow. In its place, a magnificent galactic parade unfolded before his eyes, so grand that it left him breathless. The Milky Way flowed across the sky, dividing it in two like a great river made of billions of melted diamonds. From its depths, a soft light overflowed, awakening ancient memories of the universe. Oh, how beautiful. The world was so vast, so full of brilliance. The heart of Yodaka, who was but a single bird, had suddenly shed all the sadness and loneliness he felt on Earth. In its place, a burning, pure passion to become part of this vast universe filled his chest. First, he flew straight toward Orion in the western sky, a cluster of bluish-white stars shining bravely. Orion sat powerfully, looking like a giant clad in armor made of light, playing a melody of the cosmos. Yodaka moved his wings with all his might to reach the feet of that great light and called out with his whole heart, "O stars, noble Orion, please let me join your line of light. I want to be a ray of hope, shining upon the hearts of people traveling through the dark night, just like you." Orion, while continuing to sing the song of the galaxy, looked down gently at Yodaka. His light was incredibly bright, yet it was never cold. "Little traveler with tiny wings, your spirit is noble. However, every light of every star has its own role. There must be a place that only you can reach. Go and search for another place, the place where your soul will shine the brightest." Yodaka thanked Orion for his warm advice, bowed deeply in midair, and then headed toward Canis Major, twinkling with rainbow colors in the southern sky. Canis Major changed its colors, every second blue, purple, yellow-looking, as if a jewelry box of the universe had been turned upside down. "Beautiful star, jewel of the cosmos, please accept me. No matter how long the journey, I am prepared to keep flying without ever giving up." Canis Major, flashing its lights busily, answered in a singing voice. "Traveler, you who are a bird with a passionate heart, to reach my place, it would take tens of thousands of years, even at the speed of light. Your wings do not yet hold your own true light. That light is not something you receive from someone else. It is something you must create from within your own heart." Thinking deeply about the meaning of the star's words, Yodaka headed toward the quiet northern sky, where the air was even thinner. There lay Ursa Major, emitting a serene and divine light like a palace built of ice crystals. "Guardian of the North, silent great bear, please let me enter your circle of light." Ursa Major spoke in a calm, deep voice as if teaching a lesson. "Do not hurry. Quiet the noise in your heart and remember who you truly are. To become a star is not just to shine. It is to turn your soul into pure love and keep it burning forever. For now, simply hold that pure will and aim for the peak of the sky. Touching the deep wisdom of Ursa Major, Yodaka felt the true courage sleeping inside his heart wake up. Not to be taken somewhere by someone else, but to become the source of light himself. He realized that this was the true path to becoming a star. His small body as a bird was reaching its limit, but his heart was soaring more freely than ever before. Finally, he called out to the Star of the Eagle, shining on the other side of the Milky Way, which had risen from the east like a white mist. "White Star of the East, I will hesitate no more. I will keep flying to turn my entire self into light that shines upon the world." The Eagle Star answered with an overwhelming presence, as if creating a great wind. "Splendid determination. Then go to the highest place in the sky, to the abyss of light, where all existence melts into one. When you release your own light there, you shall become a true star." Yodaka received the encouragement from the stars into his wings and pushed further into the depths of the galaxy. Before he knew it, his feathers had blended with the color of the night sky, and his trail sparkled as if he were scattering golden dust. His throat was parched, and his wings were numb from the freezing wind, but his eyes were filled with a joy he had never known before. "Thank you, stars. I am going now to find my own brilliance, a light that only I can create." In the silence of the universe, only the sound of Yodaka's powerful wing beats echoed. He was no longer a lonely bird. He had become an embodiment of hope, connecting with all the light in the universe and about to be reborn as a new self. Yodaka concentrated all his strength and took a great final step toward the peak of the sky, where the entrance to the light was waiting. That step was the first step that moved beyond his life as a bird and connected him to the eternal light. Yodaka soared higher and higher into the deep, cold reaches of the cosmos. It was a world of absolute silence, where even the concept of air faded away, and every sound was gently absorbed into the stillness. His breath became white crystals that sparkled and scattered upon touch, and a beautiful silver frost gathered on his feathers, reflecting the mysteries of the universe. It was as if his body were beginning to be reborn, clothed in the very light of the cosmos itself. "Ah, this place. This is the true sky I have been searching for all along." Though the intense cold caused the sensation in his wings to gradually fade, a peaceful and transparent tranquility, unlike anything he had ever felt, spread through his heart. The sadness he felt on Earth, the loneliness that had gripped his chest, and the memories of the hawk's harsh words could no longer reach him. Yodaka quietly realized that all of those things had been precious and cherished experiences, necessary to lead him to this beautiful journey of light. His consciousness was released from the shell of his heavy physical body, transforming into a purer and freer existence. The warm, tiny weight of the baby white-eye he had once helped, the jewel-like brilliance of his brothers, the kingfisher and the hummingbird, and the preciousness of believing in himself, which he had protected until the very end. All of these warm memories became countless particles of light, enveloping him gently as if blessing Yodaka's soul. Until now, I only cared about my appearance and how others saw me. But I never knew that dedicating my passion to someone or something could be so refreshing and make my soul shine so brightly. Yodaka felt his existence changing bit by bit, yet certainly. It was an experience that could be called a birth into light, moving beyond his former self toward the brilliance of a pure spirit. His wings no longer needed to beat against the wind, for light itself began to well up from within him like a spring, carrying him gently upward. He no longer needed to know a specific direction. Whether he was facing up or down was a small matter in this vast universe. Only one thing was certain: his pure wish to shine upon someone and be kind was beginning to change the profound darkness around him into the bright colors of hope. Slowly, but surely, Yodaka's wide-open beak remained as it was, seemingly filled with heartfelt satisfaction and joy. He was accepting everything that had happened in his life as one beautiful story. The sadness, the loneliness, and even the fleeting nature of life he had once felt were all precious preparations for this moment filled with light. In the profound cold of the universe, Yodaka let out a high, clear cry, "Kish, kish, kish," as if playing the final and most powerful melody of his soul. That voice reached into the dreams of all living creatures sleeping in the forests of Earth, echoing as if to tell them of the existence of precious things that cannot be seen. It was entirely different from the harsh voice of a hawk hunting its prey. It was a hymn of gratitude to the entire universe, filled with pure determination and compassion. Yotaka entrusted his entire self to the great flow of the universe and was drawn into a vortex of light. It was a sacred place where physical forms quietly vanished and only pure will and love shone with eternal brilliance. His consciousness moved beyond the small frame of a single bird and became one with the vast universe, melting straight into the source of light on and on, forever. The red glow of a forest fire on the distant Earth faded into a tiny dot, like a faint memory from long ago. The cold and frost no longer affected him. They quietly melted away like spring snow, transformed into brilliance by the inner light Yotaka emitted. His feathers, having finished their important role, scattered into the stardust of the universe as shimmering particles of light. Then Yotaka's vision opened clearly toward the dazzling light of truth. He had finally become a star that would shine forever, a light for himself, and a light for everyone that could never be extinguished. After a while, Yotaka opened his new eyes clearly. There, a peaceful and divine world unfolded, a sacred realm more transparent than anything he had ever experienced on Earth. He looked at his own reflection and was enveloped in wonder and quiet joy. His body was no longer that of a single bird bound by gravity. He had been reborn as a noble and beautiful star itself, wrapped in a bluish-white flame that welled up from within. Finally, I have become my true self, Yotaka whispered in his heart. Right beside him sat Cassiopeia, smiling gently and steadily. The pale blue veil of the Milky Way flowed beautifully behind him, making a soft and pleasant rustling sound. Yotaka had finally reached his true home. It was an eternal mission, a place where he didn't need to ask anyone for space, where he would hurt no one, but would simply exist to gently illuminate the entire world. Yotaka's star continued to burn peacefully. It was not the fire of sadness or anger he once held, but a pure blue light emitted by a compassion that embraced everything and an indomitable will that would never break. That brilliance melted softly into the silence of the universe and reached every corner of the distant Earth like a message of hope. At that time on Earth, the short summer night was quietly beginning to break. Fern leaves, wet with mist, swayed blue and cold as they breathed in the soft dawn light. The birds of the forest woke up one by one, feeling the arrival of a morning fresher than ever before. When they happened to look up at the night sky, they found a single blue star, twinkling more beautifully and powerfully than anything they had seen, right next to Cassiopeia. Even the hawk, who had once sternly lectured Yotaka, bowed his head slightly at the sheer beauty of that light. Has he become such a wonderful existence? From the hawk's heart, too, the old sharp feelings and arrogance vanished, replaced by a quiet ripple of emotion, the preciousness of believing in oneself. The hummingbird and the kingfisher also received that blue light at their respective posts, starting their new day with deep respect for their brother's noble decision. From then on, Yotaka's star burned forever and ever. Though seasons passed and the night visited hundreds, thousands, and tens of thousands of times, its position never changed, serving as a reliable landmark for those traveling through the darkness. When a lost traveler looked up at the sky, or a child crying in loneliness gazed out the window, Yotaka's star always spoke to them with a gentle gaze, as if tilting its head slightly. It's okay. Inside your heart, there is the same light as mine. Believe in yourself and take one step at a time. That light reached many people's hearts, crossing the barriers of language. Even as science developed and the true nature of the stars was revealed one after another, Yotaka's star alone continued to be told as a form of hope. Whenever people look up at the night sky, they remember the true bond that a single bird once tried to protect, even by turning his entire self into light. The finale of the story is a peaceful scene from a future many generations away. A young girl lies in a meadow, gazing at the night sky with her father. "Daddy, what is that star shining especially blue next to Cassiopeia?" Her father smiled gently and replied, "That is Yotaka's star. Long, long ago, a single bird with a heart kinder than anyone else's wished to shine upon everyone in the world and became a true light. In the girl's eyes, the blue glow from Yodaka was reflected, sparkling like jewels. Yodaka continues to burn peacefully and proudly today, right next to Cassiopeia. That brilliance will never fade, for as long as we care for someone and do not lose our own inner light, Yodaka's star will continue to shine eternally within our hearts. Like the story of Melos, who brought the peace of friendship to the city of Syracuse. Like the story of the swallow, who gave everything to wish for people's happiness. And like Yodaka, who believed in himself and became a truth of the universe. The sincerity and love they showed have now become one great circle of light, warmly and brightly illuminating our future forever. Yodaka's brilliance watches over us from the sky today as well.